Hello everyone and welcome back to SewGrannySew. So today we're going to do a quick sew and tell. As I usually don't show the sewing that I'm doing in the videos, but I have had a few requests to get the sewing in it as well so they can see what we're doing. So I'm just going to recap on the half square triangles and the quarter square triangles. So for your half square triangle, you can mark the back of your lighter color if you wish. You're just going to take a ruler, lay it on there, go diagonal, diagonal. I don't mark mine when they're this small because of the fact that my sewing machine is marked for that. So you'll just line up right sides together. What I'm doing a dark and light. And then you'll just pin the edges opposite together. And we'll bring that to the sewing machine and we'll just sew diagonally on there. So we need this half in the quilt we're working on. If you want to save this half into a half square triangle already made, from that seam there, you're just going to go down a half an inch. And you can also use your ruler and mark that out if you'd like and stitch right there too. And then you're just going to cut right down the center of the two seams. You should have a 1/4 inch seam on each piece, such as this. Once you have it sewn together, you'll go ahead and you'll finger press that open. And then you'll bring it to the ironing board and you will iron it open like that. So this is what we call a half square triangle. So now we're going to make them into quarter square triangles. So all we're going to do is take another dark fabric. And this one's nice because you use this in a couple of the different stars that you can make. And I like to sew in the direction of the seam. So once you have your fabric lined up, I'm going to sew from this end over. That way we're not biting that seam as we sew. So once again, we'll just pin the edges. So right down the middle, then go a half inch and sew that as well. And then cut them apart in the middle of that seam. And then it will look like this. So I'm going to bring you over to the sewing machine. I'm going to show you exactly what we all did to get from the squares to the half square triangle to the quarter square triangle. And remember, like I said, you can actually make the stars out of those. I will link that quilt that we're currently working on in the description box below. But just so you're aware, when you make a star, those are your points on the star anyways. And then, of course, you just put a black plaid one in the middle of that. So then you got your points on your star. So they work for so many different things. We're not using them for a star. We're using them for a trellis fence. So I will go ahead and bring you on over to the sewing machine and we will get that started. So we are now at the sewing machine and I'm just showing here that the needle is in the center. And you do want it in the center to sew down that center diagonal line there. So you'll just press your foot, put your patch underneath there, and go ahead and start sewing it. Never watch your needle. Always watch. I have a little, you'll see it here as that moves, a little pencil mark I put on there. And just make sure your last corner is lined up with that pencil mark if you're not going to mark your blocks. And then we'll go ahead and we'll put the next one on and I'll show you the second one. And then we're going to go ahead and get it sped up to get through all of these. So I have been fighting flare up of my pure autonomic failure, so I didn't get to do anything extra this week. I've been working on the trellis pieces, these black and white ones. I do need to get the one side done so I can get that measurement to cut out that center panel so we can do applique. But my hands are not able to do applique right now, so I do apologize for that. I think I am going to go out to the camper tomorrow and we'll get some measurements for the window and start the curtains because that's a pretty simple task. So watch for that video. I don't know if I'll get it out tomorrow or the next day, but we will have that coming up as well. I believe there was 23 of these quarter square triangles. So I just kind of did it in stages. Okay, that's the end of that. Then we'll just use our scissors and we'll cut off all of them except for the one that's under the needle. And then we'll start snipping those apart. I normally use my little thread cutter thing, but I have such limited room at the sewing table, so I went ahead and I just cut them apart. Then when we get down to the last one, there'll be this little tab of fabric. We know it as a leader and ender, and you just run that underneath your needle, and it saves so much thread, you guys. It also helps that the half square triangle, the peaks of those, don't go down into your feed dogs that way as well when you first start it, if you got that leader on there. So once you have it stitched at that side, you're going to go down that 1/2 inch and you're going to stitch again. So you have a big side and a small side when you're done with your stitching. So I'm going to keep this side and we're going to get rid of that side. So we're going to go ahead and put that second seam in there. Now, you want to take a ruler as such and measure out your 1/2 inch and see if you got a line on your sewing machine. You can just follow along on your foot plate. I know if I center mine, I'm still measuring here, but if I center my needle or put my needle over to the left as far as it goes, from that spot to the edge of my presser foot is exactly a 1/2 inch. So that is what I use. So I just line up the seam with the edge of my presser foot and sew, and that gives me an exact 1/2 inch. So we're going to go ahead and I'll show you the first couple and then we'll speed that up again as well. Now, I've heard a lot of more experienced quilters say that it's not really chain stitching if you have to lift your presser foot. I don't agree with that. I think it's chain stitching either way, you're saving thread. However, I do show later on in this round um, how you can do it without lifting your presser foot. As far as beginner, I learned this way, just lifting your presser foot as a beginner, and I've never dropped that way. I have more control over it, especially right now. I'm showing you here the two lines, and then you'll cut them apart. They're measuring at exactly 1/2 inch. So just cut right down the center. And then you have your big piece you need. And I just got a little scrap bin there. I need to iron all them half square triangles yet. I'll show you a second one here, and then we'll speed that up and get all those second lines stitched in there and then get them all cut apart. But as I was saying, you'll see where I stop lifting the presser foot and I just start running them through consecutively. If you get the tip of your fabric, that point on that corner, just underneath as the other one's finishing, your your foot feed will pull that through, the fabric through. Right here is where I'll show you. If you can get that in there, just get that peak in there, and then the feet grab it, and it'll start pulling it through for you. I find I have less control doing it that way, though. You can experiment with it. Let me know in the comments below how it went for you if you do that. I know the more experienced quilters have already done that before, but as a beginner, that is a task to try to, more like a challenge to try to get that down. Well, once again, we'll put a scrap through there, snip them up, and we'll cut them all apart and get those cut in between those two sewn lines. I think I'm still getting my ducks in a row here. Sorry. Then once you have them all cut apart, we're going to go ahead and finger press them open. I open them towards the black side, the darker side. And we'll do one of the little ones as well so you can see the size difference. So that's the two of them together. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to take that full stack. We're going to bring that to the ironing board. We have all of our quarter square triangles ironed and ready to go. So I'm going to link, as I said, in the description below the video, the quilt that we are currently working on. So if you want to see the one prior, I'll have that posted. And then stay tuned. We will be doing another video once my hands are a little better to move around on getting that applique for that center panel. I get one side of the trellis done, the trellis border, as I need to know the length of it exact before I cut out that fabric. So stay tuned for that. And as always, guys, if you found this video useful, go ahead and give it a big thumbs up. It really helps our channel grow. If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button because we'd love to see you at SewGrannySew. Thanks all. Have a great day. Bye.